good afternoon from the Shires. Very excited today. First time we've been out on a cultural tour for about 6 weeks, and we're heading down to London once again. I'm just off to the station to meet new friend Martin and naturally the venerable Spider. And we're going to hope to have some adventures around through Fitzrovia, Marylebone, touching on Paddington, and then working our way back. So about 6-7 miles maybe, but we'll hopefully have a number of refreshment stops and give you an update as we go. All right, speak to you soon. Take care. Right, Spider, we're approaching St Pancras. You've had a look at the dossier. What are your hopes and expectations for the next few hours, looking at the route that we've got?
Well, I'm hoping to sit in a bar that's been frequented by Eric Blair.
Eric Blair? Oh, you mean AK? Okay, well, we'll reveal that pseudonym a little bit later.
Indeed.
But anything else other than that? I mean, are you intrigued by the route?
I'm intrigued. Yes, I like to follow in famous people's footsteps and try and get a flavour. I mean, Dylan Thomas is also another person whose path we'll be following.
Right.
Mind you, he did drink in a lot of pubs.
Yeah, it's not unusual, is it? I mean, it's a bit like Pepys, isn't it? He seems to drink in every pub in London.
And Dickens.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll look forward to that, and we'll get some more comments from you as we go round. Maybe we'll even ask Martin some questions. Okay, approaching our first stop now, which is the Newnham Arms in Fitzrovia. We're just coming up to the Queen Charlotte, and we were going to nip in there, but then I realised it was a brew dog pub, so that's obviously going to mean it's shite, and we won't go in there because all they serve is fizzy craft ale that tastes of fruit juice. Anyway, report soon. First stop, first failure of the day, Newnham Arms. Sadly, got in there, lovely little gem of a place, lots of people milling about outside, as you probably see from the picture. Got in, no beer, well, no real ale anyway, so it was a stout, not really, or a lager, or a craft ale. So we headed off down the road, just a few yards down the road, and we're now in the Marquis of Granby, and we're going to enjoy all sorts of things here. That looks like Spider's ESB. I'm just going to take a little sip off that. And I've got half a pint of Bolt Maker. Well, it would have been a pint, but Martin bought it, and he never quite gets them to fill it up. So I've got a pint of Bolt Maker. And we're going to see what goes on here. It's quite rowdy in here, as you might expect, on Maundy Thursday. But it's a shame we missed the Newnham, because there's a number of interesting characters used to drink in there, namely the aforementioned Eric Blair, that was the pseudonym of George Orwell, and also Dylan Thomas, as mentioned as well. Now, the Newman also featured in a couple of films, and was seen in Michael Powell's film Peeping Tom. Now, that's not a film I've seen before. Spider, you're a man of many talents and artistic interpretations. Have you seen the Michael Powell film Peeping Tom? I imagine that's something up your street.
It's definitely up my street. Yeah, I was that Peeping Tom.
Oh, so you were the character on which the film was based, were you?
Well, it's actually based. The name of Peeping Tom comes from the Lady Godiva myth.
Is that right?
It is right.
Oh, well, you live and you learn, don't you? Well, yeah, just a few other things to say. Whilst we're on the subject of Orwell, he actually lived quite close to here in Kilburn, as it turns out. And one day during the war, he went out and came back to find his house in Mortimer Crescent, not too far from the Priory Tavern we visited on one of our previous trips, only to find it had had a direct hit by a V1 flying bomb, aka a doodlebug. But crucially, he managed to rescue the manuscript of Animal Farm from the rubble of the bomb site. So there we are. We live and we learn, and we appreciate our culture with every passing day. Anyway, I must stop now because my pint is awaiting. Catch up soon. So we're sitting in the Granby, and we've actually taken some tables that have previously been reserved by Nancy for 6 o'clock. Now, what did you just say, Spider? Well, we'll be gone by then, won't we?
Oh, no, we've got to stay and have a look at Nancy, surely.
Well, have a look at Nancy. Why would we want to do that, mate?
Well, the name does conjure up a certain something, isn't it? Je ne sais quoi, surely.
Well, if you say so, mate. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we'll have to eke this pint out for another 25 minutes, so. Oh, okay, not bother. Fair enough. So, Martin, you just espoused a little bit of social commentary to me there about the changing nature of women and relationships in the last sort of 25 to 30 years. Would you like to give that once more to us?
Well, just that women have been sold an absolute fucking pup. They've been sold the idea that they're going to be independent and free if they can put a job above everything else. Then they knock on about 35, get sick of their jobs, realise it's not a career, can't find a fella, don't have a fella, have to have two incomes to manage something, and instead of being freed from the oppressive male patriarchy that's been oppressing them for 4,000 years, are now just working for some other bloke, hamster on the company that employs them, and has to have another bloke there just to fucking have a kid or have a house. Well done, girls, you achieved liberation. Nonsense.
Fine rants.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't necessarily share every aspect of that, but basically what you're saying is they've girl bossed their way out of a proper family life. Spider, anything to add?
No, I think that was a fine rant from the man Martin, but what advice would you give then to the ladies of Syria and Afghanistan?
What's that, sorry?
The ladies of Syria and Afghanistan.
Well, I'm not sure. I think they're beyond our help, aren't they? I mean, in this forum.
Well,
All right. I think we're better park it. Just record. Right, here we go. So we're now up to the Jackalope, formerly the Dover Castle, not the Devon Castle, up at Weymouth Mews. Now, the last time we were here, Spider, we approached it from the other end, and you, through a drunken rambling, you talked about Christine Keeler. Do you remember?
I do.
And you thought you spotted Lulu.
That's right.
Well, yeah, but in actual fact, you weren't far from the truth, because in the next door street, I researched subsequently, Wimpole Mews, I think it was actually the place of Christine Keeler.
There you go.
And where I think she shared a flat with, of all people, as well as Profumo, Peter Rackman. The slum landlord, the famous slum landlord from the 50s and 60s.
Yes.
So it's remarkable. So it is steeped in history here, and we'll delve into that in a little bit more detail in the next interview, as we bravely enter the Jackalope. Hang on.
Very exciting.
So Martin, I've just asked if you've done any exercise, and you said not really. So I sort of intimated that maybe a little bit of light masturbation forms might be an exercise enough, and you said what? Not yet approved by the Olympic Committee as a sport.
It's sport, no, so it doesn't count as exercise.
Well, shall we lobby the Olympic Committee? Get hold of Seb Coe and see what he says.
Well, they'd get you to head the bloody team, wouldn't they?
Well,
head coach. Head coach.
well, yeah, I think I'm past my best, but I could probably coach a good side.
No, I think you've got the techniques down to a fine.
Well, that's very sad. Another epic fail at the Golden Lion on Bulstrode Street. Walked in, 3 ale pumps, nothing available. People milling around drinking Guinness and fizzy pop and such like. So we're going to head round the corner to the Angel in the Fields and see if that yields a little bit of better result. I think it might be a Sam Smith's pub, which is interesting. And that also has some history about it, since I believe it was at one point a Burney Inn. So, we'll try and cover a bit more of that detail in a minute. So we found ourselves finding alternative accommodation in Angel in the Fields, which was our standby. And although not a listed building, it is in the Campaign for Real Ale's local inventory with a historic interior. Now the pub itself dates back to 1720, rebuilt 1770 according to the notes in my comprehensive dossier. But when Sam Smiths bought it in 2001, I think it was them that put this much older interior in. Now, prior to that, it was a Burnley Inn because one of the prior landlords found some old menus in the cellar. So if anybody wants a prawn cocktail followed by a steak and a Black Forest Gatto, you're a bit late because they don't serve it here anymore, which is a shame. But one other note about the Salmon Smiths, they used to be attractive for their pricing years ago, but £6.20 a pint of Old Brewery Bitter, that no longer appears to be the case. Nonetheless, a nice place to come, nice atmosphere, some lovely stained glass, and I'll probably come back. Take care, bye for now. Right, so just finishing off on the Angel in the Fields, and we're going to head off next stop to what's known as Tyburnia, named after the Tyburn tree, the site of many, many executions in the... Oh, golly, let me see now, I'll have to consult my notes. Right back to the 12th... No, right back to the 12th century. Right back, dating back to Roger Mortimer, Earl of March. He met his maker in 1330. A successful nobleman from the Welsh Marches, it said. He ran off with Edward II's wife, the femme fatale Isabella of France, and later returned with her. Having deposed Edward, the pair assumed power of England for several years before Edward III, that was the son, the rightful heir, had him arrested and hanged.
Stitched up.
There we are. So, yeah, exactly. Once again, man meets woman, woman does him in. Anyway, so the trees actually made way for a gallows in 1571. So it's really on the corner of, I think it's Regent's Park, isn't it? And so we're going to head out that way. Now, interestingly enough, I mean, these places gathered huge crowds back in the day, and they reckoned that there was up to 200,000 people attended the dispatch of Jack Sheppard in 1724, and they even had a grandstand on the Edgware Road. It was a big deal back in the day. Somewhat gruesome, but I think
did Jack Sheppard get a cut of the box office or not?
Well, he might have done, but he had little use for it after he went. And apparently, also there's a Hogarth picture actually, which we've got a copy of, so we'll post that up as well. A Hogarth etching probably. But anyway, we're going to go to either the Heron or the Monkey Puzzle, I think, next, and have a look what's what. Speak to you soon. Right, so we now find ourselves in the midst of Tyburnia, and we're heading up to the Heron pub, which is located at the base of the Winter Gardens, a post-war development, which part of the Hyde Park estate, actually owned by the Church of England. Now, it was built between 1960 and 66. By Waits on the site of the old Oxford and Cambridge squares in the modern style. So not quite brutalist, you'll be pleased to hear in this instance, but not far off. So we're going to head there now. I'm sure I've got a few more details in the dossier, but I have to turn the page to get to them. Now the interior of the Heron is quite interesting because it happens to be the headquarters also, or the new headquarters, the relocated headquarters, the Handlebar Club, which is a club for gentlemen who sport handlebar moustaches. So that's interesting in its own right. And there's a Grenadier Guards sentry box outside and much patriotic elements inside, and also a Thai restaurant. I'm not sure quite how that ties in with the Handlebar Club, but anyway, we're going to go and have a little investigation and see what's what. By the way, the club was founded in 1947 by Jimmy Edwards, no less. Wacko, as we used to say. All right, take care. Bye for now. Well, that's interesting. We just pitched up at the Royal Exchange, and I had in my notes, it looks like the sort of place where interesting things might happen. And sure enough, there seems to be some kind of reggae disco on or such like, and the place is absolutely rammed, full of interesting people. So, unfortunately, it was too rammed to get a drink with any sort of easy access. Oh, shut up, Spider. Do fucking behave yourself. Anyway, so we're going to... Oh, my, I know. You would have thought it was bloody fallen off at your age, wouldn't you? Anyway, so we're going to head back to the. We're going to go to the monkey puzzle, which I think might be a little bit anodyne now afterwards, but nevertheless, we'll carry on drinking, and we might venture back. If we were a bit braver and a bit drunker, we'd have stayed there, wouldn't we? But we're not. So we're going to veer off and then go back. All right, catch up soon. Well, that was very interesting. We just popped into the Globe on Lisson Grove, and we met a couple of gentlemen who were reform splitters, actually. Splitters in the Reform Party, because they didn't think they were quite right-wing enough. And so they were following the prospects of, what was that disgraced MP called? Somebody or other. Anyway, and one of them was called Chris, and the other one was, I don't know. Chris, what was his name? Anyway, and they were rattling on about horse racing and horses and all very country pursuits in general. But they weren't bad chaps. No.
They're more bullshit, but they're right wing. Yeah.
Well, they were right wing, but I don't know. We're a bit right wing ourselves, aren't we? Really? Well, we're not ever so left wing anyway. So it was interesting, and they had an interesting take on the prospect of Islam taking over the country, which may or may not be the case.
People.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, we're all a bit nervous about the change of change really. Nobody likes change, do they? So, we'll keep an eye on that. But an interesting encounter nonetheless, and an education to us all, I think.